Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel where we discuss all things living here in the great state of Maryland. And today we are talking about the real estate market and doing a quick update on what's going on here in our local market. So jumping right into things, I always like to just kind of keep people updated on where interest rates are at. So interest rates have been on the move down for the last several months. So right now we're seeing an average, and these are kind of national averages from a resource that I follow. We're seeing averages of conventional 30-year fixed rate mortgages right now around 6.2%. And we're seeing FHA and VA, which are your government loans, 30-year fixed right around 5.8%. Now, I will tell you just from a couple local lenders that I work with, I do see good credit, overall strong profile borrowers right now getting lower than that at par pricing, meaning there's no points, no cost, additional cost to that rate. So if you ever have any questions on interest rates, feel free to reach out and I can definitely connect you with someone local who's got very good competitive interest rates. But overall, that's where interest rates are at. They are off their highs. We peaked. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we peaked around 8%, maybe around 6 to 9 months ago, which was crazy. So we're definitely we've been on the move down, which is good. So I know compared to 3% a few years ago, a couple years ago, that's still a long way to go. I don't know if we'll get fully back there. It's hard to say completely, but they have been on the move down, which is great news for interest rates. Next, want to talk about how competitive the market is. Now, in certain areas, this is what I'll say. In certain areas, it's still very competitive. It still feels like not necessarily the peak of the competitive market that we had a couple years ago, but it certainly still feels like it has elements of that past market. So for example, I just had buyers out here in Howard County this past weekend. We had multiple offers on both of the properties that they wrote on. So we're still seeing a lot of that in parts of Howard County, parts of Montgomery County. Really kind of the popular areas within any county, we're still seeing that. But there's certain areas, a lot of areas now that have cooled off a lot more than certain zip codes, and where you're seeing those properties sit for 2 weeks, 30 days, 45 days before they really get their first strong offer. So it really just depends on the area. What I tell people in general, this is my general advice right now, is that properties that are very well maintained, that that it's evident that they have been cared for and loved, so to speak, and that they are priced right on that first weekend in the first 3 to 4 days. Expect multiple offers. Hopefully that's not the case. But that's kind of the best, that's the best thing to prepare for still, even in today's market. So another thing that we're seeing that I'm going to jump into here is in our most recent numbers released by Maryland Association of Realtors, we're seeing 2 months of inventory. Months of inventory is our absorption rate, how quickly are homes coming onto the market and being sold. So that's just kind of how we measure that. We look at anything under 3 months as a seller's market. That means there's more buyers in the marketplace than sellers, and inventory is going to move fast. The market's going to be in the seller's favor at that, the market's going to be in the seller's favor in those scenarios. Anything under 3 months. Once you get up to 6 months, that's where we see more of a neutral market. So you've just got enough inventory where homes are not selling right away, and you're going to see much more neutral terms in that type of marketplace, and we haven't seen that in a long time here. So we'll see kind of where things go, but the inventory has been on the rise a little bit, but it's still something to be it's something that's a little misleading, because that's a state level number when we look at 2 months of inventory. We've got a lot of our central Maryland counties still much more under that. In fact, almost all of them. We've got Baltimore County at 1.6 months of inventory. We've got Anne Arundel County at 1.4 months of inventory. And Howard County is going to be the lowest of all central Maryland counties at 1.1 months of inventory. So we're looking at that state level number at 2, and Howard County is almost half of that, which really just doesn't tell the whole picture if you're looking at that state figure and then you're a home buyer in Howard County. So just something to be aware of. It can be very hyper local depending on the zip code you're in, depending on the county you're in. So just something to be aware of, where there's still a lot of competition depending on the specific area that you're in. As always, I am a licensed realtor here in the great state of Maryland. If you ever have any real estate questions and what it looks like to buy or sell here in our marketplace, I'd love to help out in any way possible and answer any questions that you may have about our local real estate market. All right, next, just wanted to jump into a few more figures released most recently by Maryland Association of Realtors as far as where our real estate market is at. So we are seeing, again, in our most recent figures, number of units sold, so number of total homes in the residential marketplace here in Maryland, fully making it to closing, down 6% year over year. So we saw a couple months, recently in the last 6 months where units sold was up. But for the most part, for a while now, we've been seeing that number on the decline, which again is just a big reason. There's a lot of reasons, but it's one of the big reasons why the competition continues to exist in the marketplace. There's just less and less sellers listing their homes, and then that just creates more and more competition for the buyers that continue to exist and want homes in the marketplace. So number of overall homes sold down 6%. We have seen and we continue to see home prices going up, where we have average sales price up a little over 4%, and we've got median home sale price in the state of Maryland up a little over 2% here in the area. So continuing to see those home prices go up, but at a lower rate, which is good. And then lastly, we've got the median number of days on the market up a little bit from last year, which was 8 last year in 2023. And then we've got 10 days for median days on the market here in 2024. So up a little bit, and hopefully we'll continue to slowly see things neutralize. But in the real estate market, I always tell people things move very, very slowly. I would not expect anything to happen overnight when it comes to the market shifting in any kind of significant way. Of course, we could be wrong about that, but that's just something that I've seen in my experience of kind of studying these things. So, things to keep in mind: continuing to see number of overall units down a little bit, continuing to see home prices continue to appreciate year over year. So that kind of makes sense. As there's less people willing to list and sell their homes, there's just going to be a little more competition for the buyers in the marketplace, since we continue to have more buyers in the marketplace than sellers in the marketplace. Now, the one thing that I will say that I have been continuing to see for as a trend here for a while is that although we continue to see multiple offers in a lot of our local markets, the terms and conditions that are getting accepted continue to be a little more neutralized, which is good. So even though we may see 3, 4, 5 offers on a home, it's not the same kind of 3, 4, 5 offers that we saw 2 years ago, which was 2 years ago, those 3, 4, 5 offers, the winning offer almost had to have completely waived inspections, significant appraisal gaps and waivers, just terms and conditions were just kind of crazy and not in the buyer's favor. Now even though we're seeing 3, 4, 5 offers, we're seeing more inspections, being allowed, significantly reduced appraisal gaps, or maybe none at all, and just kind of not as crazy, not as extreme offers that buyers have to submit to get their offers accepted. So that's a good thing, and I think overall, that's something that hopefully will continue to neutralize to where we kind of have a more level playing field for both buyers and sellers in the marketplace. Again, if you ever have any real estate questions, please feel free to reach out anytime. Hope you have an amazing day, and we will see you at the next video.